In a world where power dynamics increasingly hinge on high-stakes diplomacy and relentless warfare, the latest phone conversation between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin did little to alter the trajectory of the devastating Ukraine conflict. Despite expectations for diplomatic momentum, Trump openly admitted that the hour-long call produced no progress whatsoever. Meanwhile, Kremlin officials, including top aide Yuri Ushakov, reiterated that Russia remains fixated on addressing what it describes as the root causes of the war, namely, NATO's expansion and the West's continued military backing of Ukraine. Notably absent from the dialogue was any discussion about Washington's temporary freeze on select weapons deliveries to Kyiv, which has stirred alarm both in Ukraine and among NATO partners. The aftermath of the call underscored the futility of dialogue in halting Russia's military campaign. Hours after Trump and Putin ended their conversation, a suspected Russian drone strike ignited a fire in a Kyiv suburb, symbolizing the continued escalation. Reuters journalists inside Ukraine confirmed that the capital experienced a wave of explosions and intense anti-aircraft gunfire. Further east, 5 civilians were reportedly killed in shelling by Russian forces. Trump, addressing reporters before leaving for a campaign-style event in Iowa, expressed frustration with the impasse and again blamed former President Joe Biden for depleting America's weapon reserves. "We gave away so much under Biden. We need to make sure our military has what it needs before we give more," Trump stated, as quoted by The Hill. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said in Denmark that he is seeking an urgent conversation with Trump to clarify U.S. military intentions amid the pause. As Ukraine braces for potential large-scale summer offensives from Russian forces, the U.S. decision to temporarily halt certain arms shipments has amplified fears of vulnerability on the battlefield. Intelligence officials have warned that depleted Western stockpiles, especially of air defense systems and long-range artillery, could hinder Ukraine's capacity to repel intensified assaults. According to Politico, Trump remains committed to assisting Ukraine, but believes future aid must be balanced against America's strategic reserves. Meanwhile, Moscow's continued insistence that NATO abandon its support for Ukraine remains a central barrier to peace. Russian officials continue to reject any notion of Ukrainian NATO membership, a stance echoed by Putin during the call. As Al Jazeera and the New York Times have reported, the Kremlin views NATO expansion as a direct threat, not just to Russian borders, but to its sphere of influence, a viewpoint that continues to obstruct any real breakthrough in negotiations.